last episode, Kaito and Juna swapped roles, with Juna now operating the controls of Gunvarrel 2 and Kaito operating the laser guidance to the which powers the antenna on the back of Gunvarrel 2. Yeah, things have been sort of going semi-sluggish, with Juna not as apt at the controls as Kaito is. But then, Kaito hasn't been entirely focused either. Not only is his mind on the new rockets that are being assembled here in the first Osaki office, but also the necessity of finding the elusive 7th report and the ramifications of what will follow once he obtains it. But right here and now, Kaito still has to fulfill his function and keep Gunvarrel 2 powered. Yeah, Juna's very apprehensive, and that unfortunately is having an effect. Dilemma. Juna can't control Gunvarrel 2 if she can't focus on the screen. But if she does focus on the screen, then she feels apprehensive about Gunvarrel 2's surroundings, even though it has an omnidirectional camera. Yeah. Juna complains, but she still keeps following my advice, refusing to take her eyes off of Model 2.
ごめんね、2号機ちゃん。私がちゃんと動かせなくて。
Yeah, looks like, pretty much looks like that Kaito is the one who will have to be at the helm.
すぐ慣れるさ。
First encouraging thing you said all day. Well, second actually.
元気一発だよ。
Wouldn't follow that advice, not being honest.
Don't mind.
Maybe, don't jump in all at once. Mistakes be damned. She's nothing like the girl who used to be scared of robots only half a year ago. That is true. But confidence with robots is one thing. Confidence with controlling a robot like Gunvarrel 2 is another matter entirely.
純ちゃんさ、ロボにもう怖くないの？
Juna's hands stopped moving as I talked to her. Looks like she can't talk and operate it at the same time. Yeah.
怖くないよ。私が操作するとちゃんと動きで答えてくれるから。モーションだって私のものを使ってるし。なんだか自分の分身みたいに感じるの。
It's an interesting observation there, Juna. Still.
変かな。変じゃないよ。
None of these Takio's happy. And Juna should be too. Akiho happily wraps her arms around Juna. Don't go too overboard, Akiho.
よかった。ジュンがロボットを好きになってくれて、うちも嬉しいよ。それもこれもうちの洗脳工作のおかげだね。
Shouldn't say that part out loud. Poor Juna probably has no idea how to react to your bragging. Well, I guess I can't deny that Akiho's pushiness might have had a tiny bit of an effect on her. More so Juna's previous tendency not to refuse, I would say. Route 58, Tanegashima. Akiho Snow again. The sky is a pale blue. Gazing up at the said sky, I hum the Gunvarrel theme song to myself. It's the Season 1 theme, my favourite. It's also the ending theme, so its melody has a bit of a somber feeling to it, which is pretty neat. I think it fits our current situation perfectly. After the last few days of testing, we're finally transporting Gunvarrel 2 to the old airport of Nakatane. So long, first Osaki office. It's been nice knowing you. Gunvarrel 2's been loaded atop a large truck. I stretch my arms out as it shakes and jolts, and seems that Juna is riding on back as well. Better a truck like this than, say, a piece of junk Michio is so fond of driving around. So I guess we can't complain. But anyway. I feel like I'm an old lady leisurely driving a tractor after finishing the day's farm work, except you're not the one driving this vehicle. Car after car passes us from behind. I remain seated in the truck bed and gaze far out at the ever-changing scenery that slowly drifts by. There are sugarcane fields stretching for miles and miles. It's almost time for harvest, so they're way taller than me. I like listening to them rustle as they sway in the wind. Good for you, Akiho. This kind of tranquil scenery really doesn't match the visual of the giant Gunvarrel 2 sitting in the truck bed. No, it doesn't. Just yesterday the trucks that Nai-san got for us arrived at the TNSC. Which basically meant it was time for us to haul our butts out at the first Osaki office. Kenichiro's dream takes precedence, I'm afraid. Then again, we always knew our paths were going to diverge. We split the upper and lower body of Gunvarrel 2 yesterday, then loaded them onto 2 trucks first thing in the morning. Us third years basically have no classes, so Jun and I were both there for it. Kai's on standby at the old airport. I can't say I'm happy about all this. It feels like we're being forced to retreat after a brutal defeat in battle. If only we did have more time, but still, the Robotics Club has come far. It's not like we represent the island or anything. We're not in any place to complain either. But I guess it feels like nobody really needs us at all, so I still feel pretty sad about it. The Gunbuild 1 things turned out the way they did because of our inexperience. It sucked, but I accept what happened. With Gunbuild 2, with all our powers combined, we made something we could all be proud of. Yet, it feels like we've all been thrown away. I'm seriously worried. Meanwhile, Jun is sleeping soundly next to me, back against Gunvarrel. I'd heard she could fall asleep anywhere, but seeing as how she's doing it here of all places, she must not get much sleep at all. I don't think she could sleep on the back of Michi's truck. That thing would give her nightmares the likes of which she would never recover. She's got chores to do and she's still practicing karate. She told me that because of all that, she tries to find time to sleep whenever she can, even if it's only 1 or 2 minutes. But she needs all the sleep that she can get, otherwise, yeah, good luck to the rest of the Daitogo family when it comes to preparing decent food. For example, even on a truck bed in the middle of a cold winter's day. Then again, the truck isn't going that fast, so anyone would be lulled into a peaceful slumber, I suppose. If I leave her like this, she might catch a cold. I try poking Jun's cheek with my fingertip. Nope, still asleep.
Oh, 柔らか。
Yes, Jun has always had a baby face, but the springiness of her skin might be even more youthful than that. Man, I'm jealous. If only I'd gone out for sports. But you had dreams of your own, Akiho. Meh, wishing for the impossible isn't going to get me anywhere.
っていうか、ジュンってば、もしかして年齢サバ読んでたりして。
No, I think she just takes really good care of her skin, Akiho. What if she's younger than she lets on? I don't think that's the case. She's short and looks like a junior high kid, so... Her eyelids twitch slightly, but she shows no sign of waking up. The wind blows. It's getting chilly. There's about 10 kilometers separating the Tanegashima Space Center and the hangar in Nakatane. It's our destination. The truck we're riding in is plodding along at around 10 kilometers per hour, even slower when we go uphill. It's been about 30 minutes since we started moving. We're probably a little under halfway there. We've still got a ways to go. More ways than one. I look up at Gunbuild 2's lower body lying on the truck bed. He's currently split up into 2 chunks. Securely fastened, of course. The upper body is in the other truck driving ahead of us. Nissan's in the passenger seat of that one. Oh, and for the record, both drivers are JAXA personnel. Well, they'd have to be.
でっけー
And people are starting to notice. I can hear the shrill voice of a kid. When I look in voice's direction, I find two elementary schoolers. They're both wearing backpacks and heading in the same direction as us. One is a boy wearing a yellow hoodie and a black backpack. The other is in shorts with a blue backpack. Are they heading home from school? Could be. Naturally, their eyes are focused on the truck bed we're riding in, or more specifically, Gunvarrel 2. Our eyes happen to meet, so I wink at them as the friendly young lady I am. Yeah, that didn't go down so well. The two boys look at each other, then look back at me without as much as a smile.
それロケット？
Ouch. Looks like they're cut from the same cloth as Kaito. They're interested in rockets, not robots. But that was unexpected.
惜しい。ロケットじゃなくてロボット。ロボット？見えないよ。ガラクタじゃん。俺、ロケットが見たかったな。
Once again, ouch. This is a little... No, this is a lot annoying. And with the best, worst timing possible, the truck stops at a red light. As do the children. Time to show these kids a thing or two. Just don't get carried away, Akiho.
君たち、色を見られる？
When the two boys nod, I put on a smug smile and point at Gunvarrel 2 behind my back.
見てみて、すごいから。
The boys whip out their pokecoms and do as told. Holding them up at face height, they peer through the screen.
うわー、なんだこれ。ガンバレルの足だよ。げえ、ガンバレルだって。あんなクソロボ、もう時代遅れじゃん。
Poor Akiho. Today is just not her day.
クソロボ？君たち、ちょっとそこに正座しなさい。
Here we go.
お姉ちゃんが説教してやるんだから。
If only she could, Akiho. If only she
うわー、逃げろー。
Boys flee just after the light turns green and the truck starts. I lost my chance to chase them down, leaving me with nothing but leftover shock and anger boiling in my chest. But that's just how it is. With the passage of time, the novelty of Gunvarrel has dwindled down to nothing. The unfortunate events of Kono and Minami Furugori aside. Though having said that, while watching a rocket launch up into the atmosphere or outer space might be impressive, that too has, if I'm being brutally honest, lost its charm and novelty over the years as well. 30 years ago, such a thing would have been unprecedented and impressive, but now it is just another part of the mundane milieu of time.
日本の将来は暗いかも。
You wouldn't be the first, and you are far from the last, Akiho.
大声出してどうかしたの？
And now Jun is awake. Jun sleepily tilts her head toward me.
おはよう、ジュン。
Morning or afternoon?
アキホちゃん。何か悲しいことでもあった？
In a manner of speaking.
うん、とっても。
And if the Misaki of old were here, she definitely would have taught those boys a lesson.
もうみんなの心は頑張れるから離れちゃったのかな。
I think they already have. In no small part due to the Committee of 300, using the Gunvarrel anime, and even the idea of Gunvarrel itself as a propaganda tool. But with their plans in motion, they have no need for it, as do many other people unconnected with the Committee of 300, which is very tragic. At least that's how it's starting to feel to me. Alongside last year's episode leak were rumors that a large chunk of the staff had died mysteriously, as well as other stuff. Oh, those are no rumors, Akiho. Not at all. Even then, I guess I just wasn't ready to hear those kids call Gunvarrel an old crappy robot. For someone like me who loves Gunvarrel to the moon and back, it really hurts. Ah, the cultural divide. There's no avoiding it, I'm afraid. You're bound to experience it sooner or later.
ジュン、ちょっと泣いていいかな。胸貸して。
Akiho is really upset. As upset as she was, as she was when that leaked episode debuted on the internet. Clinging to Juna's chest, a trickle of tears drips down my cheek. Once again, the spirit of Gunvarrel has been tarnished. Poor Akiho. But we must move forward. It's been a while since I last came to the old airport. Indeed it has been, Kaito. Of course, the first thing we're going to do is to check the latest tweets. First one from Akiho. In the video of Gunbuild 2 that we filmed for the expo, it'd be better if aside from our meet and greet, Gunbuild 2 looked cooler. I want to add awesome BGM and SFX, but S-Kun won't let me. I wonder if that'll be fine. I want to try and cheer her up. She needs all the encouragement she can get right now. Oh yeah, that kind of stuff will definitely help it. Yeah. think this might be the first time riding in the back of the truck. That's because it is the first time riding in the back of said truck for you, Juno. Leaving Tennessee. Very well. Will this be? First one's Nai. Even though we hassled them a bit, the students agreed to our request with big smiles. The kids on the island are all really nice. I want to help them as much as I can. There's only so much you can do, Nai. Even with somebody with your abilities. I did something bad to my daughter and her friends. It was security protocol, but we had to kick them out. My daughter still rooted for me. It was such a relief. I promised that we will both try our best. You're only following your dream, Kenoshiro. It's not your fault. Not at all. No media news in List C. I'm sure that will change as launch day approaches. And nothing from our trio. Very well then. I've been going to the TNSC virtually every day since Model 2's completion, and before that I was focused solely on finding the Kimijima reports. Come to think of it, this might be my first time here this year. That's because it is. I've been in this chilly warehouse playing Kill Ballad since this morning. Thank goodness it's not so cold that my fingers go numb. Well, you can always wear gloves if that happens, Kaito. Never hurts to be prepared. This place has no electricity or stove to speak of, so winter's a total hell, and I know it.
八代先輩、試作2号機はいつ到着する予定だと言っていましたか?
It's on its way.
So,
it's definitely arriving, Subaru. Don't sweat it. Subaru and I are the only ones in the hangar. Today, Model 2 is being removed from the first Osaki office. That's why Akiho and Juno went over there this morning. I'm on standby over here, along with Subaru, apparently. Thanks to their efforts, I get to sit here and play KB.
なんならアキちゃんに電話してみようか? いえ、別にそこまでする必要はありません。
Of course you would say that.
ただ、あまり遅くなるようなら、僕は先に帰りますんで。
You do have your reasons.
そっちの編集終わったの? まだですが。
Looks like he's still got some work to do. Subaru met up with me right after finishing school. By the way, Frau contacted me earlier. I don't really have anything to do there today, so I'm locking myself in my base. See ya. Back to being a shut-in, I guess.
あくまで経過報告程度のものですから、特に演出を入れたりせずに、少し編集するだけでなんとかなりそうですよ。
Which, in Subaru's language, means no background music or special effects whatsoever. Pragmatic to a fault. Subaru has been staring down at his Pokecom for a while now. He's working on a video detailing the production process of Model 2 for submission to the Expo committee. As impressive as that is, Subaru, you're going to need a few bells and whistles. Otherwise, yeah. Exhibitors need to submit twice for the expo. Once 2 months prior and once right before. Should any faults arise during inspection, exhibition rights can be withdrawn. Oh, so this is just inspections. Never mind then. A video inspection 2 months ago went by without a hitch. Though at the time Model 2 was mostly incomplete. This is the second submission. If there aren't any problems, we'll be given permission to have an exhibit at the expo. Then we can begin. We finished filming the day before yesterday, just before we were kicked out of the TNSC. After some light editing, we'll submit the video. It's about 10 minutes long. 10 minutes should be more than enough. Subaru's in charge of that process.
手応えはどうなの？これで落とされることってあると思う。
わかりません。何しろ初めてのことですから。
Well, we'll be competing with others for a spot in the expo. That's for certain. But there is a chance we could get that spot.
でも試作2号機の完成度を考えれば落ちることはないと信じていますよ。
そういえば、アキちゃんにコメントもらってたよね。あれも映像の中に入ってるわけ？
ええ。
Subaru wears an uneasy smile on his face. Looks like he's being forced to compromise.
部長は
Unsurprised,
すごいのか
actually.
すごくないのかたまにわからなくなりますよ。
Dedicated, I think is the word you're looking for there, Subaru. Whatever else he might be, dedicated is certainly something.
なんかコメントでやらかしたの？
いえ、そういうわけではなく。
Fortunately.
見ますか？
I should probably check just to make sure. Subaru sends me a link to download the footage. After downloading it, I hit the play button. Let's see what she set up.
もう撮ってる？
And we're off to a very good start here. Looks like you got your work cut out for you, Subaru. Editing already.
中央種子島高校ロボット研究部部長瀬宮明穂18歳です。
That's always a good start.
疾風怒涛の元気一発頑張れるジャキーン。
I think I can see Subaru cringing in the back corner somewhere.
どうどう？
ちゃんと内容のあるコメントをお願いします。
今のじゃダメなの？やっぱり実物大ガンバレルを作ってるんだからガンバレルの決め台詞だけで十分だと思うんだけどな。
I think you're actually supposed to talk about, about the robot there, Akiho.
テイク2。
ちょっと待って、今は話す内容を考えるから。
Probably should have rehearsed this beforehand.
普通でいいんですよ。木をてらったコメントは却下です。
Yeah. Although having said that, not a lot of preparation time given the transfer. And two, just think about what you just said there, Subaru.
急に言われても。
isn't accustomed to this, after all.
何かお題出して。
Yeah, you could have at least helped out with this, Subaru.
では、わんぱくに出るにあたっての抱負で。
Akiho's never really thought about it. All she's done up until this point is chase the dream that her sister Misaki began all those years ago, which led to the eventual completion of both Model 1 and the development of Model 2. But unfortunately, because she's been single-mindedly chasing the Sonomiya family dream courtesy of her father Kenichiro all this time, she's never really had any other ambitions for herself outside of Gunvarrel.
うん、オッケー。巨大ロボットはうちの夢です。巨大ロボットはみんなの憧れです。巨大ロボットは子供たちのヒーローです。巨大ロボットは正義の味方です。うちは巨大ロボットが大好きです。
Well, credit for honesty. She deserves that.
みんなも大好きでいてくれると嬉しいです。
And she's speaking from the heart too. Very sincere.
はい、OK です。
Yeah, that was definitely the better take. Straightforward and to the point. Doesn't actually explain anything about the specifications or functionality of Gunvarrel 2 in the slightest, but then again, maybe an actual demonstration might actually, then again, we'd still have to wait whether a spot was given to the club or not. But points for trying, Akiho. Points for trying. After the video ends, I look up at Subaru. He simply shrugs at me.
ガンバレルの騒動のせいでロボットアニメに対する偏見だらけになってしまっているのに。
That is true, and yet that is not the only contributing factor to that, I'm sorry to say.
かつてのファンも続々と離れていってますよ。
Even if it weren't for the events, people these days just move on from one trend to another, which in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when it goes into hyper mode, it's an entirely different story.
なのに部長はなんで今もロボットのことをあんなに無邪気に語れるのかなって思ったんです。
That's because that's exactly how her dream and ambition is, Subaru. Simple. Simple as that.
別に責めてるわけじゃなくて不思議だったんですよ。
Says the person who has a passion for developing hobby robots.
スバル君はひねくれてるからね。
悪かったですね。
Oh. That just shows how much you've improved, Subaru. And I actually mean that.
疑問に思うのももっともだよ。そもそも女子なのにロボットアニメをあそこまで好きでいるのだって珍しいくらいなんだし。
Yeah, you've never been raised by Kenichiro Sonomiya.
結局のところ、アキちゃんはさ、一途なんだよ。
Unless you forget Kaito, Misaki was the same way herself back in her youth.
一途。
小さい頃からずっとブレてないね。 頭悪いけどそういうところは尊敬に値するよ。
There were times in which she was actually considering actually giving up and moving on to something else. But at the end of the day, it is as you say, Kaito. Akiho has stayed the course.
頭悪いけど。
Says the guy whose tragic condition is slow-mo. Wait.
それは僕も知ってます。
It's a good thing she's not here.
一途か。付き合いの長いヤシオ先輩が言うならきっとそうなんでしょうね。
That is pretty much Akiho's trademark character trait.
けなげとか愚直と言い換えても良さそうです。
Yeah. There are many forms of naivete, Subaru.
僕は部長のその原動力が何かを知りませんが。
That's because you have no idea about her background, but Kaito does.
そんなの分かりきってることじゃん。姉ちゃんの背中を一生懸命追いかけてるんだよ。
And her father also had a hand in it as well.
アキちゃんは超がつくほどのシスコンだからね。
意外ですね。そんなシンプルな理由だったなんて。
There are times in which I worry about you, Subaru. I really do.
それはスバル君がひねくれてるから。
いちいち指摘しないでください。
Then again, you're not exactly one to talk either, are you, Kaito? Half the time. He must really be self-conscious, considering how defensive he's getting.
でもそれで納得しました。試作1号機にあそこまで思い入れがあるのもそれが理由なんですね。
Indeed, because she wanted to finish what Misaki started.
だけどお姉さんってあの瀬宮美咲でしょ？
Yes, the Misaki Sonomiya. And don't you forget it, Subaru.
あの人に追いつくのは茨の道のような。
You're not wrong, but it also shows you what you know.
まともにミサ姉に追いつこうとしたらね。
Which in Akiho's case, she has.
でもこの島にミサ姉が唯一残していったものがある。それがロボ部とガンツクプロジェクトだったわけで。
And Akiho inherited them.
ロボの完成がイコールミサ姉に追いつくことって方程式なんでしょ。
Although she's still got a long way to go in that regard.
依存症なんじゃないですか。
Says the man who lives in eternal fear of his own father and does things behind his back.
依存症？
お姉さんに対する依存に見えるんですよ。
Dependency isn't exactly it. She's just trying to reconnect with Misaki. But that, in and of itself, is a bed of thorns, considering the situation at hand.
自分のためじゃなくお姉さんのためなんて。そのために進学だって犠牲にしているわけでしょ。
Not so much sacrifice. She never had any post-graduation plans to begin with.
さすがに刹那的にも見えますね。僕の感覚から言わせてもらうとナンセンスです。
That's the funny thing about logic, Subaru. Even logic has its limits.
そう見えるのも僕がひねくれてるからなんでしょうが。
両立できるように頑張れとでも言いたいわけ？
She's been trying. That's the problem.
スバルくんだってそんな器用なことできてないのにね。あ、今のは皮肉ね。
In one ear and out the other, eh, Subaru? It's then that I hear a car horn blaring from the outside. A trailer swerves onto the airport apron. They're here. I figured Model 2 would find me right. When I go to outside to take a look...
Yo!
Huh. It's Fujita. Doc hops out the driver's seat.
早いね、ドク。
2号機はまだ到着してねえのか？
Well, it's slow going. You can't expect them to drive at 100 kilometers an hour. Not with that load. With Model 2 being moved, we'll have to perform our reassembly work here at the hangar. That's not our worst problem, by far. So we asked the robot doctor here for support.
っていうか、クレーンに乗ってくるって話じゃなかった？
Like with Model 1, we're planning to use a mobile crane to stand the robot up. Yet Doc came in a large truck. There's no crane, but there is something else loaded in the back. What could it be?
クレーン車はもうすぐ来る。
Well, that's good to know.
だがその前にこいつをお前らに渡そうと思ってな。
Whatever you have, I'm sure we're going to need it, Fujita. Doc's already wrinkled face wrinkles even further as he points to the truck bed. Whatever's in there is covered with a sheet.
なんです？
I'm sure we'll find out.
モノポールモーターだよ。
Ah. So the rest have finally been completed.
モーターならもう間に合ってるけど、予備？
Actually, couldn't hurt to have extras, just in
な
case.
んだ、ロボ部から何も聞いてねえのか。
Or maybe there is more to this. As I've noted before, he's referring to Akiho in this case.
こいつはな、2号機の予備モーター兼1号機用のモーターだ。
1号機？
So she's planning on salvaging Model 1 after all. Interesting. But that's right, Akiho's been chipping away at Model 1 while working on Model 2.
そのモーターの代金、誰が払ってるんですか？
I hesitate to know the answer to
1
that.
号機についてはスペースアメ車だ。
But that's surprisingly generous of Sumio there.
あの社長な、2号機のスポンサーは JAXA に横取りされたと逆恨みしててな。
Well, it's your loss, Sumio.
何よバカな。ナンセンスですよ。
No, Subaru.
試作2号機にだってスペースアメ社は資金を出してくれていますし、メーカーロゴだってちゃんと機体に貼ってあります。
Indeed.
詳しくは知らねえよ。独り占めが良かったんだろ。
Unfortunate.
何にせよ、あの社長は最初1号機に金を出してたわけだからな。去年のお披露目も失敗に終わったが、ロボ部が説得したって聞いたぜ。
Which is entirely surprising.
確かに時間を見つけてはコツコツと一人で改良してたけど。
She couldn't bear to leave it alone, and I think you have something to do with that, Fujita. In fact, I know you have. You influenced her on that.
モノポールモータまで発注したとなると話は違ってきます。さすがに相談してもらいたかったですね。
Indeed. I'm sure you have plenty of monopole motors, but maybe having more might actually be a boon in this instance.
2号
Maybe.
機との互換性があるように作ってんだから別に問題ねえだろうが。
Akiho will be pleased with that.
未知の技術で作ったモーターだ。いつ壊れたっておかしくないんだぜ。予備は必要だろう。
Words of wisdom there. Anything could happen with the monopole, so we need to be prepared. Even though Subaru's only just realized this now.
まあそんなわけだ。ほら、お前ら手伝いやがれ。モーターを下ろすぞ。
Can't turn down Fujita's effort and generosity, Subaru. Doc brought 6 extra motors with him. You know what? This old dude may very well be more excited about this stuff than Akiho.
ところでスバル、ちょっと提案だがな。
Intriguing.
何です？
ファイルバンカの需要はあると思うか。
Subaru doesn't even have to answer that question. It's a good thing Subaru's father isn't around here. Because with Subaru's situation, it would be a slight snag if Gunvarrel 2 suddenly had pile bunkers. Because once Subaru's father gets wind of that, he's going to know. Those were the things M45 was equipped with. They gave me a real hard time back during Robo 1.
試作1号機か2号機に搭載しようとでも？
Subaru's on a real precipice now.
別にそういうわけじゃねえよ。ただ、この年になって巨大ロボのパーツ開発に目覚めちまってな。今はロボットブームだし、需要はありそうじゃねえか。
The robot boom has sort of been on a rocky road as of late, but still.
なんならモノポールモーターだって売り物として出してもいいんだぜ。お前らにモノポールの材料費を払ってな。 俺の予想じゃあと5年もしねえうちに10メートル以上の巨大ロボによるロボワンに似た大会が開かれるな。
Maybe. But no one can completely anticipate the future.
そうなりゃ
Well,
個人の巨大ロボパーツショップは引く手あまたじゃねえか。
if only Fujita. If only.
鉄春藤田ブランドが巨大ロボット業界の歴史を作ってっかもしれねえってわけさ。
It's tempting.
これで燃えなきゃ男じゃねえだろ。
It's like he's a totally different person now. Once an untalkative craftsman. And now a true mad scientist. But not quite an insane mad scientist, mind you.
パイルバンカーはロマンですが、そんな物騒なものの需要はありませんよ、きっと。
Fortunately, once again, Subaru has a point. Subaru's not buying what Doc's selling.
そうか、ロマンか。お前らみたいなガキでもそう感じるんだな。
For most people, motivation begins with dreams.
結構結構。
Something tells me that Fujita is testing Subaru. Called a hunch. That's the face of someone who totally intends on building them. No matter what. It's not a bad thing that he's this energetic, but this might be overdoing it. What the hell happened to the guy who was on the verge of death only a few months ago? He got a new lease on life, Kaito. That's what the hell happened. Which might work out in our favor, or might not. That night, on the roof of the Minami-Tane Community Center, which is where I'm going to end this episode of Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. When we return, we have some pondering to do. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.